The views and opinions expressed in this video are not necessarily those of Leicestershire Centre for Integrated Living or its employees.
There are a number of areas where right to control is so very important to people now and will become very important to individuals who at the moment have never heard about right to control. The learning that we will actually gain from this that will have such a positive effect upon individuals in the future knows no bounds really. Our bounds will be our creativity now. It's also so important that with right to control that we recognise that there are a substantial number of different funding streams that are available to disabled people that are nothing to do with health and social care but work alongside. It's really important for paid staff, our staff and disabled people and the country at large to start looking at and thinking of disabled people as part of the employment market, and to look and see how we actually address that without giving people favours but actually using appropriate funds to actually meet their access needs. By doing that, we start to really put disabled people in society in a position that will be far more successful than how they are at this moment today, seen usually as individuals who are in receipt of services but not in control of the services that they require to operate in the way that everybody else chooses to do so. And that's where LCIL as a user-led organisation plays a fundamental part, because within right to control there's always this discussion about cultural change, and there is a requirement for cultural change as I've just described, but we as an organisation are in a position where we can actually evidence to that world, to local providers, to staff who actually meet, who are part of the right to control Trailblazer site, we can meet with them and evidence to them how we actually operate as an organisation of disabled people with staff who are disabled and some who are non-disabled. We work together effectively, meeting our outcomes and working within budgets that everybody else has to deal with. Funding streams deliver control to disabled people. It means then that this personalised service that individuals require will be accurate, because it's the individual themselves who actually sets out what they require, not somebody else guessing or judging what is needed.
What things have you done on right to control?
On right to control, I've done various things. Primarily being introduced to people at the Leicester Centre for Integrated Learning, and then recommended to APEX, to the enabled part of APEX, enabling disabled people to make it easier for them to gain employment.
I've done a fair few things on right to control. I've done work experience at many places, like Bike Park and Baby Gear, and plenty of training and courses.
I did a health and safety course, and at the moment I'm waiting to do a dyslexic course.
I've got into a place called Apex, which I'm looking into doing ironing, and also to help me with my ironing I'm doing a maths course, English course, and hopefully going to be looking into doing other courses, and that's what help I've had so far of right to control.
How has Leicestershire Centre for Integrated Living helped you?
It helped me tremendously by giving me confidence, by giving me my voice, which I felt had been lost, and reawakening old skills within me which I could use to benefit.
They gave me information on how I can manage my right to control finance, and they gave me advice where I can go to get help.
It's helped me get out more. It's helped me make friends, and it's helped me with my confidence.
Basically, it's like helped me from different ideas and how to improve the right to control and understanding what right to control is.
How has right to control helped you?
The right to control scheme has helped me because it has given me the space to decide what I want to do with my life.
Right to control has pointed me to two companies, Remploy and Apex, and to see what they can do for me.
Because I wouldn't think of be looking into opening my own business if it weren't for right to control helping me get to where I am now.
It's helped me to control my life.
Was the application process a smooth one?
To begin with, I thought right to control sounded a very, very good idea, and I was enthusiastic about it. But, however, the process took a long time, which left me feeling slightly depressed. I didn't know which way I was going, what I should focus on in my life. But once that the whole process had been worked through, then I felt good about it.
No, seemed to have took quite a while to what they said it would have been to do everything what I'm doing.
Yes, very smooth actually. I thought it was fairly easy.
Were there any delays?
There were various delays which I could not understand at the time, but I've since been told it's because it is a new scheme and quite a lot of people did not know which direction they were going in.
The application process wasn't very smooth due to the fact that it had been delayed on several different occasions.
Yes, because 1 minute I'm getting told I'm starting at one point, and then it was so long after when I started.
I don't think there was.
Leicestershire Centre for Integrated Living established the peer support group to improve the programme for disabled people. Do you think this has been effective?
I think that this has been very effective for me because it means that I've met various people that I would not meet who have told me their stories as well, which gives me support and it gives them support to know that they're not alone.
Yes, it's been effective. The fact is that we've had different people from different agencies in to actually talk about right to control and their experience.
Well, through the help of them, I've learned right to control should have done more with me than they actually have. So yeah, they are being, LCIL has been a bit more helpful than right to control.
How did you first come to visit Leicestershire Centre for Integrated Living?
I first visited Leicester Centre for Integrated Learning after my DEA at Charles Street, where I sign on, sent me here after saying that there's this new scheme if you would like to take part.
I was on the board many years ago when it first started, LCIL, about 10 years plus.
I got a letter through the post being invited to an LCIL meeting.
Well, I heard it actually off my driving instructor who's got Asperger's.
If you could change one thing about Right to Control, what would it be?
The one thing I would change is that all departments know what you are doing. For example, if you sign on like I do at Charles Street, then the people there, if you sign on downstairs, are not with your disability officer, are not quite aware what I was doing at the time. And through Right to Control, I've done many things.
One, the support plan, in the way they write it, to make it clearer for people like me, I asked for that to be changed for me to understand it, and to be more up to date with you and let you know stuff, what's going on and things like that, which I don't feel they have.
One thing about Right to Control would be actually get more different agencies understanding what Right to Control is, and how they could improve the process and make it a bit quicker.
I don't think I'll change anything. It's helped me out quite a lot.
What could have been improved about the process you have been through?
Been a bit more quicker.
What could have been improved is less time from being introduced to the scheme to being put on your journey to decide what you want to do.
Have you been on government work to training schemes before?
I have been on government work and training scheme before through different agencies.
I have, but not recently, so I cannot really comment on that.
I went to a place called, I think it was Working Links, I'm not too sure, but they didn't seem very helpful.
Actually, no, I think, because everything which I was on before either closed down after a year, so this is really my very first proper thing which I've actually done.
How does Right to Control differ from your previous experiences of employment schemes?
I find this much more comprehensive, much more about the person as a whole, which is much more important, I think.
Obviously, I'm looking into doing something I want to with the help of them, but as I said, it could have been a bit more quicker, so I could have done stuff by now.
How it differs, it stays open longer.
Has Right to Control brought choice and control for you?
Right to Control has brought choice to me because it helped me think of what I really want to do with my future.
I decided to opt for Right to Control to give me more opportunities and actually give me more control over my support, my health and needs and that, so I've got a choice of what I do basically.
It has, because it made doors open where I can walk through, and made every opportunity very helpful, so I can decide on what I want to do, not what other people tell me to do.
Yes, very much, very much. It's helped me, like I said earlier, helped me make more friends and helped me get out in the world.
Why did you decide to opt for right to control?
I decided to opt for RTC because I've decided I need to look for work in order to take full citizenship, because a lot of the traditional support given to disabled people in the past won't be there anymore unless you look for work.
Did you find attending the peer support group useful?
Yes, very useful. It helped me realise that I was doing the right thing for me, really, and it got me in touch with people that are already going through the system, so I'm a bit more prepared.
What challenges do you see in the future for disabled people if right to control is rolled out nationwide?
Getting the message out there, really, and having enough people that have been through the system to tell other people that it is okay and you will get there in the end.
What do you see as the role of disabled people's user-led organisations if right to control is rolled out nationwide?
It's a very important role, I feel, because disabled people, user-led organisations are run by disabled people for disabled people, so it's somewhere where we can go as disabled people and not be judged by non-disabled professionals.
What aspirations for the Work Choice programme do you have?
Like I say, I hope it will give me a purpose, and through work I hope to gain a purpose and a direction in life and give back to the social care sector in a professional capacity rather than just being a social care recipient. I want to use my expertise that I've built up over many years to be useful to other disabled people coming through the system.
Why is the social model of disability important to right to control and disabled people's user-led organisations?
Because it's the whole ethos by which user-led organisations are built upon, i.e. removing barriers for full citizenship, and the social model says that it is not our responsibility to remove the barriers on an individual level. It's society's responsibility to work together and remove barriers to all, and user-led organisations have an important role in telling people their responsibilities, especially with something new like right to control. And it's a new way of putting disabled people in control of the money they receive and using it in the way they want to, rather than a way that somebody else is telling them to.
Here at Leicestershire Centre for Integrated Living, we hold to the social model of disability. One of the principal considerations of that is that it's the barriers in society that create the problems for disabled people to overcome. So that can be a structural barrier, so steps and things like that, or one of the larger barriers that people encounter is attitudes. Attitudes to disabled people tend to hold people back far more than ever the physical impairment does. And alongside addressing that, well, one of the key weapons we use in addressing that is the language we use, the wording we use. Our overarching position in relation to right to control, our principal role, is to provide information for disabled people so that they get the facts. We're not here to push the programme on them or say you must do this. We're here to provide them with the facts, allow them to make a decision for themselves and empower them to then, if they so desire, to go onto the programme, or if they wish to say no, that's not for me. How we would do that, if somebody comes to us with an interest, myself and my colleagues would sit down with them and discuss the right to control and the various funding streams that are involved with it, and sort of help them identify where they think they might benefit. If they can identify areas where they'll benefit, we will try and do a referral for them and refer them off to the various agencies that are involved in the programme. Once that referral goes off, those agencies will then make contact with the individual and go through the various assessment criteria that each individual funding stream has. As well as doing that kind of very much front of house role in terms of dealing with the person's inquiry and then moving them potentially onto the programme, we would assist them where we can if they've got any questions thereafter. If they've come maybe even might be as much as 3-6 months ago, and they say, oh, I came to see you about right to control, this has happened, can you advise me on what to do, what do I do in this situation? We will try and advise them. If we can't advise them, we'll try and put them in contact with the people who can help them. Alongside that kind of aspect, we produce information in accessible formats for disabled people, so that might be large print, things in audio, on audio tape, or braille, so that it's an accessible format for people to read and use, and that's all on right to control, so that they can, and then we'll disseminate that information so people take it away with them. Or we also attend events and talk about right to control, to talk directly to disabled people so they can get the word out and understand what's going on. And very much that can be an opportunity for them to make contact with us on a range of issues. But alongside that, part of that involved establishing a peer support group here at LCIL for those who are involved, as you'll have seen on the DVD, for those who are involved with right to control, to come in and give their feedback about their experiences, tell other people, but also feed into the process so that those at the top of the decision-making chain can find out what it's really like for the users. So at every stage, we're there sort of making sure the voice of disabled people is not ignored or sidelined and is involved in every stage. So we have the peer support group will formulate questions, and we will have people come in from any one of the funding streams. We've had members of staff from the job centre come to see them, the brokers from the City Council and have come in to discuss right to control and what their role is, so that people can sort of see how it all fits together. But they've also taken their concerns and questions that they raise, asking why things happen, to the various sort of checks and balances forums that operate. So there's like the operational board, which is the more senior managers that run the programme get to hear what their questions are and try and resolve those questions. And also there's the project board, which is the very top of the organisational chart for right to control, where the key movers and shakers are, and try and make this programme come together. So every stage those who are involved in the process are able to feed the realities in for those who might be perceived as being a little detached from what's going on the ground. And at every time we're trying to make sure, as I say, disabled people's voice isn't ignored.
Gareth George is now looking for work with the assistance of Apex Enabled. Kylie Potter is currently taking a break from her right to control scheme, which is being facilitated by Apex Enabled, as she is expecting twins. She will recommence after they are born. Jonathan Cooper has, with the assistance of Apex Enabled, begun a placement with the local garage. Jade Ward has begun paid employment with Apex Enabled as a mentor. Grant Patton was referred to other funding streams on right to control appropriate to his circumstances, but nothing further has happened yet. Kate White is working towards a qualification in brokerage to become a broker at Leicestershire Centre for Integrated Living. Produced and directed by the Dreammakers. LCIL staff: Stephen Cooper, CEO, Dominic McDevitt, Information Officer, Debbie Jolly, Policy and Projects Officer, Eric Day, Right to Control Team Manager. Special thanks to Jane Ward, Gareth George, Jonathan Cooper, Kylie Porter, Grant Patton, Kate White. Supporting partners: Leicester City Council, Job Centre Plus and Independent